Hello and welcome to Videojug. My name is Lori and I'm a certified Jiva Mukti yoga instructor with training in Ashtanga and Iyengar yoga. My yoga teaching has taken me all around the world. This is my student Dilys. We are going to show you how to perform 2 basic standing postures in yoga with variations.
This film is the first of 3 yoga films which focus on the basic standing postures. These postures we are about to learn are essential because they form the basis of most standing postures within yoga. You will need to learn these first before you progress to other more advanced standing positions. These postures will help to improve strength and flexibility. I love sharing yoga with people because of all the benefits it can offer to us physically, mentally, and spiritually. The physical practice of yoga increases strength and flexibility, energizes and rejuvenates the body, and calms the mind down. Getting ready. You can practice yoga indoors or out. If you are inside, make sure you use a space which is quiet and where you won't be distracted. Also, make sure your room has a comfortable temperature, fresh air, and a clear floor space. If practicing outdoors, try not to exercise under a hot sun. For this exercise, you will need comfortable clothing, a yoga mat available from most sports shops, a yoga belt, and bare feet. Posture 1, Mountain Pose. This posture forms the basis of most standing postures in yoga. Let's start by standing upright and by bringing your feet and legs together. Your toes, ankles, and heels should be touching. Spread your toes and allow your weight to be evenly distributed over your feet and root your heels into the floor. Lift your kneecaps and press the front of your thighs back. Then roll your shoulders back and down and press your shoulder blades into the body and lift your chest. Extend your arms all the way to your fingertips. Hold for approximately 5 inhalations and exhalations. Now that we are familiar with the mountain pose, let's move on to a variation of it. Variation 1. Upward hand pose in mountain pose. Continuing in mountain pose, extend your arms forward to shoulder height and continue up above your head. Your palms should be parallel and facing one another. Your arms should be in line with your ears if you can. Make sure you extend well through your arms, elbows, wrists, and fingers. Once again, hold for approximately 5 breaths and then return back to mountain pose. Now let's move on to another variation of the mountain pose. Variation 2, Upward Bound Fingers Pose in mountain pose. Still standing in mountain pose, interlock your fingers, turning your palms away from you while raising your arms up to shoulder height, making sure your elbows are straight. Keep your shoulders rolled back and shoulder blades tucked inwards, and your spine is tall and straight. Inhale and extend your arms above your head towards the ceiling and keep your arms in line with your ears. Your palms should be spread wide and facing up towards the ceiling. Hold for 5 breaths, keeping your face relaxed. Then return to mountain pose. Now let's move on to the last variation. Variation 3, Cow Face Pose in mountain pose. Standing in mountain pose, inhale and raise your right arm above your head. Extend through your wrists and fingers, then bend at your elbow and bring your hand to your middle upper back between your shoulder blades. Your fingers should be facing towards the floor. Now lower and extend your left arm alongside your body, fingers pointed towards the floor. Then bend to your arm, bringing the left hand up along your spine to clasp the right hand. If possible, join all your fingers together. Make sure your head and neck are straight and your gaze is straight ahead. If you're unable to join your hands, you can use a belt prop, as I am showing you on my student Dilly's. This pose is wonderful for opening stiff shoulders. Hold this posture for 5 breaths and then change over onto the other arm. Posture 2, the chair pose. Stand in mountain pose, and let's begin the chair pose first by placing your hands on your hips. Now bend your knees and lower your buttocks towards the floor as deep as you can, while your heels remain firmly grounded on the floor. Keep your toes, ankles, and heels together and lift the inner arches of your feet. Keep your trunk upright and your chest open and lifted. Now raise your arms above your head and towards the ceiling in upwards hands pose. Make sure your belly is lifted and tuck your tailbone under. If you have stiff shoulders and you can't raise your arms along your ears, do as Dilly's is doing. Lift your arms slightly in front of you like this. Hold this position once again for 5 breaths. This posture is great for building strength in your legs. To bring more awareness to your arms, you can start this movement by extending your arms first, and then lowering your buttocks. Now that we have completed all the postures with their variations, let's have a look at all the movements together. Remember that in yoga we breathe in and out of the nose smoothly and calmly. When in standing postures, remember to keep your feet rooted well. If you feel any discomfort or pain, you should come out of the pose you are in. And always remember to practice with effort, effortlessly. And that's how to perform some of the basic standing postures of yoga. Now that you have completed part 1 of the standing postures, why not have a look at part 2 of our standing postures, which will teach you a new range of positions and movements.
And that's how to perform 2 basic standing postures in yoga.